Next stop on the Panama Canal cruise, Lima, Peru. The first couple of photos feature the coastline as well as the shipping container port located right next to where the cruise ship was docked for 2 days. I always like to be on the top deck when the cruise ship is pulling into port. I love photographing from the high vantage point and getting an early start on taking pictures. This was my first time in Peru, and I was very excited to get off the boat to start exploring and taking photos. Upon arrival, we exited the cruise ship and boarded a shuttle bus that took us in close to the city center. When we exited the shuttle bus, I saw an older couple with mobility issues. One of them had a scooter and one of them had a walker, and they looked very determined to make the most out of the port as possible and the 2 days that we had there. I found this couple to be very inspiring. They didn't let age and circumstance stand in the way of what they wanted to do while traveling. I think of this visual on occasion when I need a little more energy to get the things done I want to do, and when I need inspiration to make the most of the time I have in a certain place. Here are some local musicians filming a music video by the ocean. I've always been interested in photographing and filming people who are already being photographed and filmed. One of the days in Peru, we did a local market tour through the cruise line. Generally, I'm a fan of exploring on my own time and my own pace, and not having to follow such a strict schedule. Besides the transportation from place to place and the included snacks, it was extremely easy to blend in and not be noticed while you were photographing. This picture of watermelons and sunlight is one of my favorites from the trip. Barren and untouched landscape surrounds the cruise port in Trujillo. You feel like the boat is stopping in the middle of nowhere. Everywhere you look, there's open spaces and beautiful views. The light in Peru is amazing, which is a perfect complement for the visuals that you see everywhere. I went to Trujillo, Spain for the first time last summer. Being in Trujillo, Peru, you can see the influence from the Spanish everywhere. It is very clear in the design and the architecture. You can see and feel the effects of colonialism everywhere, especially in the churches and in the cemeteries. I was raised going to the Catholic Church. Despite that influence, I never considered myself to be a religious person. All that being said, I've always been intrigued and fascinated by religious visuals and imagery. Both directly and indirectly, the theme has appeared in my photography since the beginning. I think one of the reasons is that the statues are very visually interesting and stimulating. I also find it interesting that people come and visit these cemeteries for a very short window of time, once or twice a year, but they're there constantly, being exposed to the elements and time as they decay. Trujillo is a very colorful city with classic beauty, even though the influence from Spain dates back to 1534, and named after the birthplace of conquistador Francisco Pizarro, who was later assassinated in 1541. You can see and feel the indigenous culture melding with the Spanish influence. Both Trujillo in Spain and Peru are very different. I would recommend putting both places on your travel list. As my day in Trujillo comes to an end, we head back to the cruise ship and get ready to embark to the next port. I get a few more shots before the anchor comes up and the boat leaves. Paracas, Peru. After docking, we got on a bus that was provided for free from the cruise line that was supposed to shuttle us into Paracas. On the way to the town, the bus drove through the Paracas National Reserve. As we were driving through the National Reserve, I was thinking I would love to get out and take some photographs, but it's not a taxi, it's a shuttle bus, and that's probably not going to happen. Next thing you know, the bus stops and the door opens and everyone is sitting there in confusion. They made everyone get off the bus in the middle of nowhere in the blazing heat, and everybody was freaking out, except for me. I used the next 20 minutes to walk around and take photos, and we ended up getting a cab into the town. We were trying to get to Pisco, but we couldn't find anyone to take us there, so we had to spend the day in Paracas, which was fine with me. I spent a lot of time walking around, taking photos, enjoying the views, and eating some good food. If you made it to this point in the video, thank you very much for watching. The next and final stop on the Panama Canal cruise is Chile. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video.